Whether you are a rookie camper or you are a seasoned vet with a lot of experience under your hands, I want to start out this video with asking you a question that I would really like your feedback on down below in the comments. Why do you go camping? And I want you to actually sit and think about that a little bit. What is the reason that you go camping? What is the experience that you're looking to get out of going camping? Share that down below, and then I'm going to get into why I'm asking that question as we look at this 2025 Heartland Prowler Lynx. Come on, let's take a look. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound, and we are here at Blue Compass RV today in Dallas, Texas, taking a look at this 2025 Heartland Prowler Lynx 265 BHX. You'll be able to see the floor plan layout and the specs on the screen. This is a entry-level bunkhouse, family-friendly travel trailer, aluminum siding, very affordable with a ton of space inside. And so we're gonna go ahead and hop right in, and then we'll come back out to the outside. And I asked that question here in the beginning of this video because there are so many different RV options to look at out there in the marketplace. There are so many different price ranges, so many different floor plans, and so many different brands out there that offer different RVing experiences. But one thing I know that I find myself doing, being someone that looks at RVs all the time, and I would imagine other people do too, is getting off of the main focus of what it is that we're trying to get out of our RVing and camping experience. So I'm curious what you look for most out of your RVing experience, and I'll share my thoughts here as well. So I know for me, when it comes to RVing, the biggest thing that I want out of this experience, one, is to build memories with the people that I care about most in my life, whether it's my wife or my family, my future kids. Number one priority over anything else is to build memories with them in my life. That is objective number one. Objective number two is to see and experience other places of the world in a way that you just might not get to without something like a tool such as an RV, whether it's getting into unique campgrounds and spots like that, or having the ability to stay somewhere for a longer duration of time, like staying for 2 weeks, where I just couldn't afford to do that in a hotel, but I can afford to do it in an RV. Especially when it comes to, you know, how we can tow stuff with our family, having mountain bikes that we can bring along with us, motorcycles we can bring along with us. Shoot, I almost bought a surfboard. Like, you just can't travel with all those things with an RV. So that is a thing, or you can't travel with all those things in most cases without an RV. And I want to be able to travel as often as possible with as many fun things to do as possible, and an RV kind of unlocks access to do that. So with those two things in mind, for me personally, sometimes I have to like check myself, and I think this is something I hope I can help other people do too, is figure out what it is that you actually truly need, and don't get caught up on just needing the best and most feature-rich RV, because a lot of people have some of the absolute best memories in travel trailers just like this here that we are standing in. So this travel trailer here is just $26,995. To put that into perspective, you basically with, you know, average credit can purchase something like this with about $3,000 down and get somewhere in a monthly payment around like $300 to maybe $400 a month. This year is calculated with 20% down, which would be closer to $6,000, and then that's at a 9.99% interest rate. So even still, not terribly expensive. Insurance on these RVs is not expensive at all, so very affordable. A lot of times the most high expense with RV travel is like gas and campgrounds. So, and that just depends on how far you travel and how nice of a campground you want. But a travel trailer like this will certainly do the job for a lot of people to get the purpose out of RVing that you want without having to spend a ton of money. My family is a perfect example of this, where we did the majority of the camping in my life in RVs just like this here, or smaller. And we did that as a family of 4, plus sometimes 5 with my cousin coming along, sometimes 6 with my sister's friend coming along, sometimes 7 with 2 of my sister's friends coming along, as well as my cousin. And we still made RVs like this work. The memories still hit the exact same, whether we were in an RV like this or in a 40-foot fifth wheel RV. And in fact, sometimes you go up to bigger and better RVs, and you limit yourself a little bit more, because we could get our little campers like this into just about anywhere. Shoot, when we had a pop-up camper, we could get that pop-up camper literally anywhere that we wanted just about. And now my dad's in a 40-foot fifth wheel RV, and it takes us dang near like 30, 45 minutes sometimes just to get the RV into a site because of all the maneuvering that we have to do to fit it into our space. So that's something that I just want to really keep at the forefront of your brain when you go into RV shopping, is what is the objective of what you're trying to get out of your RVing experience, and just understanding that sometimes, you know, you don't need the biggest and best to be able to get what you want. And sometimes the biggest and best will actually restrict you from doing certain things that you want, like going to unique locations and things like that. One thing I really like about this floor plan in particular, and it's a plus and a drawback at the same time. Almost every other floor plan we look at that has a bunkhouse style arrangement like this with the bunks in the corners, they usually do an L-shaped style kitchen right here, which they opted not to do here, which gives a ton more floor space. Now, I like the idea of something like this, especially for maybe a family with like a newborn or just a child that's under 1 year old, or maybe even under 2, where you could have a lot of floor space here to put a playpen here on the floor and plenty of room to do that. That's something my family's done before in the past, where I have a nephew who camped with us as a baby, and we just put a playpen on the floor of the camper. And so this gives you a ton of floor space to be able to do that. Doesn't come with a TV. I'm kind of the mindset when I start RV camping with kids, whether the RV has a TV or not, it might just be mandatory that it be stripped out. Because even though, as much as I would like to be able to sit down and watch sports or watch a movie or something like that, I'm trying to already get in the mindset of like, I need to instill in my kids that there are going to be times in their life where we're going to be completely disconnected from any sort of technology whatsoever. And an RV is an awesome opportunity to do that. So this one doesn't even come with a TV, but you could fit probably up to about a 40-inch screen TV, setting it here on this base or mounting it to the wall there. You have your storage space here. Now, a less expensive travel trailer like this is going to have wrapped cabinetry. So these are all wrapped cabinet doors here, not solid hardwood. And then you have all the shelving here, USB Type A and Type C ports, and more storage there. Come along this side, it has very standard furniture, so just a jackknife sofa. But again, what's the objective of your camping experience? Is the objective of your camping experience to have a really comfortable spot to come sit in the morning in your camper? Is the objective to have the most comfortable recliner seat to take a nap in during the day? Or is the objective to get outside and spend as much time outside as possible and then have the RV as just a place to settle at the end of the day? These are things that you got to think about. So this sofa here, not super comfortable. For me personally, wouldn't really mind that, because it's like, I don't even want my kids to be that comfortable in the RV. I want them to be much more comfortable going outside and sitting in a camping chair than to sit inside here on a sofa all day. So it has a very standard sofa, does lay down flat and has storage down underneath it. Standard booth dinette too. You have your traditional legs down underneath here. This can drop down and make into a bed when needed. You have your storage space down underneath here. It is a little annoying with this like flooring material here, because it's like heat needs to be applied to this to get this to push back down, but it's just kind of curled up here, which can happen. But that can be corrected. And so I think just applying some heat to that would help flatten that out there. But no carpet in the slide out or anything of that nature. Then we get to the bunk bed. So you have beds here for kids or storage as well. This can be used for. So 200 load capacity on here, 200-pound load capacity. This one is 275 pounds here on the bottom because it does have a little bit more support. You see your storage space down underneath there. And the beds on these, definitely designed for kids, because this is a pretty thin mattress here. Although the bed is, I mean, I could sleep diagonal on here, no problem. But the bed is probably only about, gosh, look at my head, and my head's up against the wall. So it's probably only about 5'6", 5'7" in total length. So not terribly long there, but again, more designed for kids. We'll see if we have the exact dimensions here. Yeah, no, it just says double over double bunk beds. It does not have the exact dimensions. It does have a residential queen size bed though. Got some pantry storage there. A little bit more storage up here. AC here in this area, and it is ducted through the camper. So we have ducting here going towards the bunk area. You can also just leave this open and it blows air kind of across this way, and I could feel it all the way to the bunks there. Got your refrigerator and freezer. So 12-volt refrigerator and freezer there. Look at all the adjustable shelving in here. This is something I wish the refrigerator in my camper had. It doesn't have nearly that amount of slots to adjust the shelving like this one does, so I actually really appreciate seeing that. Little simple thing. Got your storage space up above your kitchen area, and it's pretty modest on the kitchen. I mean, it's not anything crazy. If you're super cosmetic oriented, you are gonna see some things that might, you know, rub you the wrong way in a camper like this. Like you can see all the nail holes here, they're just puttied over on the back of this, and you just see the putty there. It's not a big deal or anything like that, but there's just putty on the walls here. So that's just what you're gonna see in some campers like this. No solid surface countertop, so it's just a wrapped countertop material. Not a huge deal though. This is the same countertop style material that's in my camper, and you just have to make sure the silicone seams around the sides here are always being maintained so that you don't get moisture kind of building its way down underneath your cabinet or underneath your countertops. Split sink here, stainless steel sink, black faucet, no retractable faucet there, but again, this is just a very, standard kind of setup. Only a 2-burner north to south facing stove. That would be totally fine for me, as I've never cooked in my camper with more than one pot or pan going at a time. And I also try to cook outside on a fire as often as I can, although that's not always the case, because there are some campgrounds I've been to where they don't have fire pits. So that's something that you can also encounter at times. Got your standard RV size microwave, smaller than a residential. 2 drawers here, a little shallow on those drawers, so pretty much just like utensil drawers, and not much else will fit inside of there. And then you have your storage space down underneath here. You can see what that looks like there. This is the reality too of what can happen with wrapped cabinetry. I just caught this out the corner of my eye. You can see this wrap there is kind of peeling off, so it just needs a little bit more adhesive here. Now, for some people, this will be absolutely a deal breaker. For me, I'm like, already, boom, there, it's fixed. And if it happens again, I'm just gonna come in with a little bit of super glue or something like that, tape it back down, and problem will be probably eternally solved after that. And that's just something that you just might experience down the road with something like a wrapped cabinetry, potentially. Not all wrapped cabinetry that I have seen does this. It's just every single individual RV kind of acts and behaves and responds differently. So that's something where that's the only spot that I'm seeing that occurring, but it's a super simple, easy fix. So that's something just to be aware of. On the windows, you have black pleated shades. Something to be aware with this is just like as you can kind of see the details outside, like you can see where the support beams are for this little covered area here. People, in the nighttime when you have the lights on in here, will be able to see like outlines of stuff the same way that we can see outlines out that way, and you can even make out some colors and whatnot. That will be the same for people looking in, so if you want more privacy, that's something you might want to consider. But you get a decent amount of privacy here. Some people will just cover the windows back behind there. That's an option, or you could replace the shades. Or for some people, it's not that big of an issue. You just change in the bathroom or whatever it may be when you need that extra level of privacy. But that's just something I want people to be aware of, because I don't want you to get yourself in a situation where you're feeling unsecure or unsafe wherever you are at. Plastic foot flush toilet in here, same wrap countertop material here. You get a tub in this camper, so not a lot of campers coming with tubs, but this one does have that. So if you have younger children, want to be able to bathe them in a tub, you do have the option with this. You have the shower as well, and when I stand in here, it's going to be pretty short. Yeah, my head goes up into the skylight, so standing at 6'1", head's in the skylight, it's probably about 5'10" to right here, and then about 6'2" in the skylight, maybe 6'3", and I would have to duck under that shower head to get into that space. Nice option though is you have the direct access into the bathroom from outside. That's really nice if you're making stops while you're going down the road and just need to hop into the bathroom really quick. Maybe you just arrived to your campground after a 4-hour ride and you just want to go to the bathroom real fast without having to find the bathroom in the campground. You can get into here really fast. And when you're out camping, you can come in and out of this bathroom without having to maybe take your shoes off and whatnot and drag dirt through the camper, so you get all this really easy, quick access to the bathroom. Plastic sink, little bit of storage down underneath here. No individual shut-off valves on the water line, so all that means is if you had any sort of water leak, you would have to turn off the water to the whole camper to prevent the leak from continuing. That's something where in like the higher end, more expensive campers, you might see individual shut-off valves on things. Then we come to the main bedroom here, and in the main bedroom you do get your own privacy in this area. Got a residential queen size bed, plenty of floor space through here as well. Pretty simple and basic. You have your bedside kind of table area here with outlets and USB ports and wardrobe storage on both sides. Little shelf up above. Spot for a TV there, just 2 lights in this space, so light here, light there, and then same setup on that side, plus you have your storage down underneath the bed. So your storage underneath there. The corners of this bed are cut so you don't like hit your knee on the corner of the bed there. And then a very, very basic mattress that this comes with. It's actually, that's actually better than I expected. So better than some others that I've seen. You may actually find yourself not needing to upgrade that, or just throwing a foam mattress topper on it and you'll be good potentially. Windows here, you got one on each side of the bedroom. So you can see same kind of shades on there, but room to walk around the whole bed. You have one AC vent coming into here. Now this will be adequate for keeping this bedroom cool for the most part. The issue I found in my Delta travel trailer is that when I sleep at night, I actually have found myself sleeping with the door open to the bedroom. Reason being is that there simply is just, it's not even that there's not enough airflow. That's what I was about to say. It's actually not that. It's the fact that this thermostat here, when this gets triggered, so let's say I have the camper set to even like 68 degrees, which I do a lot of times at night. Set the thermostat to 68 degrees. The temperature out here is going to be reading off of the ambient room temperature here in this room. So if this room gets down to 68 degrees, the AC shuts off. That does not mean that this room is 68 degrees, and there's gonna be a discrepancy there. So that's why I would sleep with the door open. If Megan and I would close the door to our bedroom having a single AC, a lot of times it would feel like our bedroom was closer to like the 75 to 80 degree range when the rest of the camper was in that like 68 to 72 degree range. So we found ourselves sleeping with the bedroom door open because of that, and because I definitely sleep hot and I need it cool in the bedroom. So that's also something to consider. But that's pretty much everything on the inside of this camper. Curious your thoughts, and I'm very curious to read your comments on why you guys go camping, what your main objective is with going camping. So let me know down below in the comments. Got your awning and slide out controls here. So when we push this slide in, the slide is going to come in just like so. Looks like we're working with a through frame rack and pinion style slide just by the way this is coming in here. It's not going to block your access to anything. You'll be able to obviously get to the bathroom from outside. You'll be able to get to the refrigerator, be able to get to the bedroom. You'll even be able to get into that bunk area if you want. And the nice thing about this too is when you close this up, you do have quite a bit of floor space to work with. So if you wanted to load mountain bikes up into this area, if you wanted to load a kayak into this area, all kinds of different things that will fit in this long floor space here, so that you can bring all the activities along with you that you want to play around with and whatnot while you are out camping. That's something that is very important to me that I look for in our camper, because right now Megan and I, when we travel, we're taking 2 mountain bikes with us. We have a collapsible outdoor stove that we bring, that we need floor space inside the camper to store, and we're acquiring more things, it seems like, every time we go out camping. So now I have a bunch of dirt biking gear because I just bought a dirt bike, and I'm really excited to take that out on more camping trips. So I have a whole tub of dirt bike equipment that could like fit under the bunk right there, for instance. So I also think about where everything's going to store. Before we head outside, this here is liquefied. This is a black tank treatment you can get for your RV, so it makes sure that everything going in and out of your toilet is breaking down properly and draining out properly, keeping your black tank healthy. You can find it in the pod formula, liquid formula, and powder formula on Amazon, at Blue Compass stores across the country, and Walmart as well. As we come outside, and you know what? I just looked down underneath here, and there's actually aluminum framing on this travel trailer. So this is actually aluminum siding with aluminum framing, it looks like, which is pretty dang nice for the price point. Just getting that aluminum framing. Let's see if it's welded on both sides. Yeah, welded on both sides of all the frame connections as well. So pretty nice with that. Close that up. You have you have metal clips here to close that up. You have magnet latches there. Then you have manual stabilizers and a fully enclosed underbelly, I believe. Yep, fully enclosed. All your water tanks, water lines sit above the enclosed underbelly. Tandem axle travel trailer, and then does not have 12-volt heat pads on the water tank, so your furnace alone will have to be turned on to keep water lines and things like that from freezing. 2 20-pound propane bottles, manual tongue jack. So one of the few campers will see a manual tongue jack on, but again, just a price point thing, not a huge deal though. I think most people can fully manage using a manual tongue jack. Plus, if you have kids, gives your kids a job to do when you get set up. You can have them do stuff like that. I know that's what my dad did with me. My dad didn't do any of this stuff when we had a camper like this. I did all of it, and my sister did all of it, and he kind of instructed us on what to do and gave us, you know, tasks to do when we get to the campground, giving us responsibilities and things to, you know, participate in and learn how to do stuff. So again, manual stabilizers there. As we come along the backside, we have our slide out. And coming back here, all of our water connections will be back here. Our dump valves are all back here as well. So it looks like we have a gray tank there, and then a black and a gray tank here. So 2 different spots. This gray tank is probably just for the shower, and then that's maybe the shower and the sink in the bathroom. Then that's black tank for the toilet, and probably gray tank for the kitchen sink. water connections here, power connections, and then a spot where you can attach a Lippert retractable ladder to get up and down from the roof there. There should be solar up on the roof. I gotta get up there and see. Let's see if we can get around here and spot a solar panel. But curious your thoughts. Again, just like $27,000 is the marked sales price on this, so a really affordable camper. Curious your thoughts. Single AC up there. I cannot get to where I can see if there is a solar panel. We're gonna have to climb on top of this ladder and see what we can find. Oh man, just a little itty bitty solar panel. So that looks like that's probably a 100-watt solar panel to just trickle charge the battery. That's about it. And they do have a digital antenna up there as well. Plus you have the awning outside. So that is everything, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. And if you're looking for your next RV, there's a link down below in the comments and description where you can find a Blue Compass RV dealership close to you, as they have over 100 different stores in 33 different states where you can find your next RV. So that link down below is there to help you find a store close to home for you. And that's all I got for y'all. Until next time, live firmly unbound.